Uy, alam mo ba?
Ayon sa research ko,
Did you know?
Updated ka ba dun sa...
FYI, ito ang kaalaman para sa kabataan. For Youth Info, the podcast.
This podcast is brought to us by the NATCO Youth Committee and the NATCO Children and Youth Team.
Hey there, kabataan! Welcome back to the For Youth Info, our FYI podcast. We're celebrating our 20th episode, and we couldn't have done it without you. FYI is brought to you by NATCO Children and Youth, the youth arm of the National Confederation of Cooperatives dedicated to nurturing leadership, creativity, and purpose among young people. Together with the NATCO Youth Committee, we bring voices and conversations from different fields to guide and inspire the youth of today.
Today's episode is something very close to our hearts. We're diving into a topic that many young people experience yet often struggle to openly talk about: mental health. In a generation where we're constantly expected to keep up, stay strong, and move forward, it's easy to overlook what we're truly feeling inside. But today, we want to create space for that conversation: honest, safe, and real. Our episode today is titled Healing in Progress: Safe Spaces for Youth Wellness. In a world that often feels fast paced, overwhelming, and sometimes even uncertain, it's important to remind ourselves that healing is not something we rush or pressure. It's something we allow. Healing isn't just a straight path, and it doesn't happen overnight. It comes with ups and downs, pauses, and small victories that deserve to be acknowledged.
And more importantly, you don't have to go through it alone. Whether it's through trusted friends, family, or safe communities, having someone who listens and understands can make all the difference. That's why conversations like this matter, because they remind us that support exists and that seeking help is a sign of strength, not weakness.
To guide us in this meaningful conversation that we're going to have today, we are honored to be joined by a professional who has dedicated her work to supporting mental health and emotional well being. She is a registered psychologist and the founding partner of Child Fam Possibilities Psychosocial Services, where she continues to create safe and nurturing spaces for individuals and families to grow, heal, and thrive. With her experience and passion in the field of psychology, she has helped many individuals better understand their emotions and navigate their personal journeys toward healing. Please join us today in warmly welcoming Ms. Karen Rose Vardelion, registered psychologist. Welcome to the For Youth Info, Ma'am Karen. We're truly grateful to have you with us today. How was your day po, or how was your morning so far?
Starting really well. I'm very excited for today.
Na-mention po kanina na medyo suki na po kayo sa mga webinars po namin, and nakita ko naman po na si Ma'am Karen is also one of our guest speaker from our previous webinars like Screen Time SOS and also the Self-Love. Yes, so welcome back and nice to see you again, Miss Karen. So let's start with something reflective po muna. So I think young people today are more open about mental health compared to before. And so if so po, why or why not?
I do agree that young people are very open. And I think it's really because our parents, the generation before them, grew up in this environment where siguro when we think about their own histories, no, that's the post-war era. So the previous generations are builders. They're more focused on practical things. They're more focused on maybe building economies, businesses, making things stable. But somehow we forgot that there's a cost, no, there's a human cost to many things that are happening. And so it's really the younger generation na recognize nila muna. 'Di ba? Hindi lang tayo dapat hustle culture. Hindi lang tayo dapat talking about tasks and what to do. We also need to think about balance, stress management, resilience. We also need to talk about meaning, happiness, no, positive psychology. And so because of that, when there are efforts to promote mental health, talagang they're really outspoken. I also want to add that part of the um, widening awakening on mental health is also because in the Philippines, the profession of psychology is very young. So wala pa tayong ano, siguro yung board exam natin for licensed psychologists, I think it's around 10 or so years pa lang. And so the advocacy, the voices, the professionals who could also give insight, later na lang siya, no, pumasok. And so match that with the high need for mental health, talagang we really have a recipe where, yeah, we have young people talking about it more, which is a very good thing.
I'm just curious if yung mental health po ba nag-i-exist na po ba siya before? Kasi sabi
Yes.
po ng mga matatanda na ngayon lang naman yan nag-i-exist yung mental health na
Correct.
yan eh. Kasi sa panahon namin
Correct.
wala namang mental health. Yan po yung palaging sinasabi po. Is it true po ba? Or baka hindi lang po siya
Okay.
medyo napapansin?
Yes, yes, no. So there's always been mental health because if you look at the definition, it's health, kalusugan, no? So hindi man pwedeng masabing umusbong lang yung kalusugan in this new generation. So there has always been that part of ourselves related to our emotional wellness, our ways of thinking, how we bounce back from adversity, and also the other extreme of mental illness or challenges like depression, anxiety, no, trauma, addiction. That has always existed. But meron kasi tayong tinatawag na stigma, yung bang nakakahiya kasing pag-usapan. So for example, natatakot tayo, ano sasabihin nila sa akin? Baliw na ba ako? Ano bang ibig sabihin if I tell someone that I'm having depressive thoughts? Ibig sabihin ba nun, mahina ako? Ibig sabihin ba nun, hindi ko kaya yung buhay? So because there's a lot of stigma, especially in the previous generation, there is mental health pero hindi siya napag-uusapan. Siguro nakatago lang, no? Silent struggles. Tinitiis, no? I'm part of that generation, so I'm 45 and I struggled with depression at age 13. So kasama ako sa statistic. Wala pang internet nun, wala pang social media. So even before that, this already exists, except that the conversations are not that open. If okay to do a trigger warning, no, I may say something a bit sensitive. So anyone who's listening who feel like this is a difficult year, you can tune out or pause muna or listen to it when you're ready. But part of also the conversation that is not being talked about is, okay, ano pa yung tinatago ng mga pamilya in terms of the struggles within? No, because depression is an illness, and it is an illness that has very serious consequences if untreated. And so if people are struggling with depression and they're not talking about it, in all likelihood, nare-rename lang siya. No, nabibigyan lang siya ng ibang label. No, medyo ano siya, mahina ang loob. Ito, malungkutin lang siya, melancholic lang yung personality, but we're not giving it the right label to fully understand it.
Yes po. Kanina po, Miss Karen, you mentioned na you already struggled po with depression despite the fact po na parang wala pang social media noong panahon na yun. Pero in today's digital world po kasi, social media is already such a big part of our lives, no? Parang the moment we wake up, may mga tao na parang first instinct nila is to check their social media accounts, if may bago na bang nag-like sa mga shared posts nila.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think po ba na online spaces have helped or have they worsened our mental health, especially for the youth?
Well, it's a tool, and tools should have proper uses, and regulation or how you use the tool still depends on the person. So my answer to your question would be, it can be good, right? But also it can be a hindrance to mental health. So, saan yung good? Okay. Studies show that if you already have a good face-to-face relationships, and then you're using social media to connect, to talk, to learn more about what's happening in your friends' lives, no? Celebrating each other's wins, di ba? Scheduling, going out, na minsan di natutuloy, pero masaya kayo kasi nakakapag-exchange pa rin naman kayo ng planning. That's very helpful, right? But if you're, for example, very lonely, even outside the social media, or you're struggling with low self-esteem, and then you get plugged to social media and you're using the likes to validate maybe if my worth as a person or how other people value me, then that can get kind of twisted. Parang we get dependent on something that's not necessarily real because there's a presentation aspect to social media. Eh. Very rare do we see people posting about what's not attractive to say, and we can compare ourselves so easily. So if, for example, you're already sad or you're struggling, and then you see, uy, my peers, no? Buti pa sila, na-achieve na nila yan, naka-travel na sila sa ganito, na pundar na nila yung ganyan. Or buta pa siya, ang ganda-ganda niya, and so on and so forth. Parang lagi ang nakapost, di ba? So excited to share about my new milestone. So every time we see that, but we're struggling internally, that could hinder our mental health. And then of course, I don't know if I'm being advanced here, but ang isang pinakamalaking impact talaga ng social media sa mental health natin is now we see everything that's happening in the world. And if you match that with how many problems there is outside, many people na talaga naman mapapaisip ko, ba't siya ganyan? May tao palang ganon. Or ito yung nangyayari in other parts of the world, in other parts of the country. Parang ang dami mong pinapasan. So parang the sense of moral rightness, is the world all right? The sense of empathy that we have, madali siyang maubos. And then you have also the, proliferation of fake news and really parang agenda that's very difficult to process. Parang kang nasasakal. So it is an environment. And like with any environments, it's still up to the person to decide how they engage with it.
A lot of people say that if you're having or if you're in a dark place mentally, no, parang you shouldn't be sharing that kind of stuff online kasi you're attracting more bad vibes daw or something. Parang ganun yung sinasabi ng iba. What do you think about that po? Should people who are struggling with mental health be more open about it online? Or kasi di ba parang it's an avenue then for them to call for help?
I don't really agree with that. That you should. I think what's more important to us is how do you do it? What's the best way to share online? I think one of the benefits of social media is that one, you can express yourself, which is good. Your page is your forum, it's your stage. So what you say there is really your experience, and you have the right to share that experience. The other benefit of social media is that there are natural groups, right? There are natural groups within social media around a common interest. So it would be very easy to find a support group for something that's very unique to you. For example, when I was pregnant and I had diabetes, napakadaling humanap ng ibang babae na pregnant din with diabetes kasi hanap ka lang ng Facebook group, for example, no, a support group. So those are very good benefits to it. However, two things, no, I think there is still a responsibility for us to share responsibly. It is not a ranting space. It is not there to go unfiltered. And there's two reasons for that. One, you're also modeling mental health, the comfort to talk about mental health to other people. But when you go into details about something very dark, you run the risk of triggering others who are also having struggles. You run the risk of having your friends see that, right? And go, I'm so powerless to help this person. Why is this happening? I cannot concentrate on my studies. I cannot because how can you when someone is not okay? So there are private forums for that. And if it's public, there are appropriate support groups for that. So if you want to ask for help and you really want a space where you can go unfiltered, then reach out to someone, schedule something privately, know that this person is someone to be trusted, someone that would listen, and then use that space. But just expressing it and then going into details, it may feel like we're dumping so much. It may not be the appropriate space for it. But for sure, use it to share your realizations. Always end with a coping. So if you're going to talk about the struggle and how you're trying to cope, and then always end your post with maybe a link to resources. So that way, it's very responsible and you're also protecting the others from being triggered by your post.
Marami din po akong nakikita mga support groups online. Di lang ako medyo nagjo-join ng mga support groups, pero what I did naman, gumagamit po ako minsan ng AI, dun po ako nagrarant po ng mga problems ko
Yeah.
din. Ano po kaya pwedeng maitulong ganito, ganito. Tapos
Yes, yes.
nagbibigay naman po siya ng mga advices, and in connection po to that, sometimes po kasi young people don't directly say that they're struggling. Ako din po kasi hindi din ako masyadong open to everyone or kahit po sa family members na I'm struggling. So, what are some
Yeah.
warning signs po kaya that someone might be going through emotional difficulties?
I would love to answer that, but if it's okay, Queena, I want to jump a little bit on the support of AI for a little bit. And I'm very glad it was helpful to you, and it really is helpful. No, you have to remember that it's a vast resource that you can use. So, for example, if I'm not okay, diba, I can ask AI, if these are my struggles, can you suggest to me 5 reflection questions so that I can process what I'm experiencing? Or can you suggest to me how I can cope with it temporarily? Does this feel like it's serious already and I should ask for help? And they actually really come up with really good ideas. I'm not in that space where you want to demonize it as well. No, it's a tool like social media. It's just there for you to really use for your own benefit. What there is a recent study, bago lang to, and I think I'm very excited that we have an opportunity to share it because the podcast is so timely, no? That the study showed when AI will create harm, and it doesn't create harm if it's used short term. Like you ask a question and then you get your response. Usually that's very helpful. That's super helpful. But using it for a very long time for mental health needs, sustained use of it can also not help. And the reason is it's almost always designed to validate. I don't know if you notice, di ba? Anything you ask it, di ba sabihin mo, I need to write a paper on ecotourism. It's great for to write. Di ba? Ganun na siya. Bago siya magsalit, magbigay ng suggestion. That's a great topic to be talking about. That's a good experience. That's a good angle. It's always validating the person. And that's good when we need that. But long term, and also as we start to deepen our sharing, when we start to go to more specific, maybe hidden struggles, we need more perspective than validation. It can go wrong because they may end up validating something that's very deep as still okay or normal or just something that can be temporarily supported without channeling that referral to a mental health professional who could or a friend or an actual person. Dalawa kasi yan eh. Ang magaling makinig, hindi lang nagva-validate, nagbibigay din ng perspective, nagbibigay din ng ibang pananaw, bigger picture. Challenge ka din. Sometimes, if you're ready, you also are being told the truth, di ba? The things you don't notice, your blind spot. So, over the course of time, if we're using AI for that, ang risk niyan is we don't get the other side that's important, which is the perspective. We get the validation, we get the support, we don't get the perspective and the challenge. And because it's still in the process of being programmed and it's constantly being programmed by the people who use it, hindi pa natin ma-predict how well it can provide emotional support. So I want to get that out there also because I want to validate young people who use AI for mental health. That's good. Walang masama, walang masama. So it's really a matter of understanding also where the risk lie. With the second question that you asked regarding how do you spot the signs? Okay, sometimes it's very easy, but other times it's very hard because people keep it to themselves. So for the ones that are outside, more often than not, it's a change from ano yung usual ng tao. So kilala mo tong kaibigan mo, 'di ba? O kilala mo tong kapatid mo, masayahin siya generally, extrovert siya generally. And then nagulat ka, biglang tumatahimik, biglang nagkukulong sa kwarto, or biglang naging mahiyain, ayaw mag-interact with other people. Or you know them to be achievers, diligent, and then all of a sudden, nakita mo ayaw nang pumasok, bumabagsak yung grades. You know them to be chill, and then they're very snappy, nagiging irritable sila. Nakikita mo yung mga ina-express nila, parang may laman. 'Di ba? Parang may pinanggagalingan, may hugot. And then there's really hard signs, no? You see them crying all the time. You see them having no energy for anything that usually makes them happy. You see them worried all the time. You started to see them get sick also, na hindi naman physical yung dahil, no? And we call that psychosomatic. It's from the stress. It's from the mental health challenge. Medyo mahina yung katawan. Then you might want to really just check up and ask how they are doing. But when I said, minsan talaga hindi mo malalaman kasi tinatago, the really best way to ensure you know what everyone is going on is to create safe spaces even before it's needed. So kahit hindi pa kailangan, pwede mong sabihin, 'di ba, na, "Uy, nandito lang ako ha, pag kailangan mo ako. Hindi ako magja-judge. Sabihan mo sa akin kung kailan ako makikinig lang at kailan ako babanat at mag-a-advise. Just let me know what you need and I'm just here. I want to let you know that there's nothing you can say that will make me think less of you as a person. Hindi bababa yung tingin ko sa'yo, hindi kita i-judge. I will just be here. I'm willing to listen." And so it's only when you have that do we get someone siguro comfortable with talking about it. But yes, no, usually it's a change in mood, a change in behavior, and also a change in the way you think na makikita mo in the way they interact. So we watch out for those changes as well.
Miss Kay, may tanong lang po ako in relation sa yung sinabi mo po about sa AI and how a lot of
Mm,
young people nowadays cater to AI when looking for parang validation. Kasi a lot of young people nowadays they still feel lonely even when they're
yeah,
already surrounded by friends or constantly connected online. Kaya nga po, di
yeah,
ba, parang may rights tayo ngayon in AI friends or parang mga AI boyfriend-girlfriend relationships. Ganun
yes.
po. Why do you think that happened?
Loneliness is a phenomenon. It's a pandemic actually. It's also a pandemic and it's a pandemic across all ages. So ito din yung same topic namin in the workforce, no, when we're giving mental health awareness for workers or employees. It's really a global pandemic. And I think the more devices we have, the more technology has intruded in our lives. Sometimes, unless we're intentional about it, the less opportunity there is to have high quality connections. 'Di ba naghahanap na tayo ngayon ng organic encounter? Yun, and nothing that's manufactured, nothing that doesn't come with technology. Kasi 'di ba dating apps, 'di ba? So parang, uy, andali, I will just say to someone na I'm looking and then connect to someone that's also looking
Parang
and then
swipe
voila,
na lang.
swipe na lang. The reliance on that means that yes, no, it's faster relationships, but it's not necessarily deeper. It's not necessarily also fulfilling in nature. So there's a loneliness in that. A lot of young people also are those who experience the pandemic during their school age, 'di ba? At yung mga kabataan natin ngayon, sila mga nag-aaral nung nagka-quarantine. So there was a whole period of several years. Some of them transition period, yung adolescence nila, o kaya yung mga batang maliliit ngayon, no, yung early childhood nila, yun yung wala silang social interaction. And so the practice as well, the skills, the connections, is not that developed yet. So I think you can be surrounded with many people, and still feel lonely because the quality of that relationship is not necessarily that of support or play or understanding who you are or accepting who you are. So for example, ako tanungin ko sa inyo, ilan ba friends niyo sa Facebook? And ilan ba yung kinakausap niyo on a regular basis?
Marami pong friends sa Facebook. Pero yung
Oo.
kinakausap lang, mga less
Kinakausap.
than 20 lang po.
Yeah. Oo. Yeah, no?
Parang
So
mga
minsan,
one-fourth.
1/4 or even less, di ba? And so, minsan pag mayroong social media, paramihan ng labanan, di ba? But the good news is, you don't need a lot. Even just one person in your life who and accepts you as you are, understands you. Hindi lang niya nakikita yung kung ano yung pinapakita mo sa iba, pero nakikita niya kung ano yung pinagdadaanan mo, sino ka, ano yung interest mo. Sila yung mga tao na nandyan, good times or not. 'Di ba? Meron ka man achievement or not, they are there. You only need one. And that's already supportive of your well-being. And so, I guess, going back to social media as a tool, kung gusto mo siyang gamitin for networking to ensure that you're in touch with a lot of people, great. But always remember, sino ba yung circle mo? Who is your real circle? So in your circle, you can have someone you lean on, someone who mentors you, someone who challenges you. So meron kang iba't ibang klase ng kaibigan, no? That makes you a well-rounded individual. That will help with the loneliness. Now that being said, no, magkaiba yung solitude sa loneliness. Pwede ka naman ikaw lang mag-isa, 'di ba? Pero masaya ka. You are at peace, you are happy. So it really depends on what's your comfort level, your social battery, and then what makes you fulfilled, no, in your life.
Yes, I agree with you po, ma'am. Hindi mo kailangan ng marami, kahit isa lang pwede na. Kasi nga po, yung palagi nilang sila sabi na, you don't need a lot, you just need someone who is real, nakakaintindi talaga sa'yo, and parang walang hinahabol para sa'yo. So, when a young person po is going through emotional pain, what are some healthy coping strategies you would recommend? For me naman po kasi, yung ginagawa ko po is, di po ako lumalabas ng bahay, para nag-isolate po ako, then nagre-reflect po ako. And pa-correct na lang po if tama po ba siya na coping strategies, or
Yeah.
may maire-recommend po ba kayo na mas maganda po?
I think ang magandang natutulong ng reflection is it allows you to gain awareness of what is happening and then process it first before reacting. No, reflect before react. 'Di ba? Minsan kasi na bugso ng damdamin, nagdedesisyon agad tayo, may nasasabi agad tayo na hindi maganda, o kaya parang may assumptions tayo na tinatalunan. But if you're reflecting, you allow yourself to really process the situation habang kapag hindi ka na emotional. 'Di ba? Halimbawa, mag-journal ka muna saglit. Pag naisulat mo na siya, tsaka ka uli tingnan mo, balikan mo yung sitwasyon. Tama ba yung initial impression ko ng situation? Tama ba yung initial decision ko? Looking at it na hindi na ako agitated, na hindi na ako triggered, am I objective? And so that's very helpful. And related to that, no, it's also helped with another very important coping strategy, which is just validating your emotions. Wala kasing tama or maling damdamin, walang tama or maling experience. These are all your emotions. Di mo nga makontrol yung feelings mo, di ba? Hindi ka naman gumigising paggising mo sa umaga tapos sabihin mo, ay, mababanas ako ngayon or malulungkot ko ngayon. That's not planned, right? You can regulate it. No? When you say control, you can regulate it na parang ikalma mo yung sarili mo, ayusin mo kung paano ka magre-respond, but hindi mo siya intentionally produce. It just comes, no? It's a part of you. And so what you need to do is, instead of judging yourself and suppressing it, you can give yourself space, di ba? Like, go on, like what you're doing, alis ka muna dun sa situation, and then close your eyes, notice your thoughts, notice your body, and ask yourself, what am I feeling? And then give a name to that emotion, pangalanan mo. Nagagalit ako ngayon. I feel betrayed today. nagtatampo ako, masama ang loob. Just yourself say that and then give yourself permission, and that's okay. That's what I feel. I'm allowed to feel what I feel, but I'm a person. I'm bigger than my feelings. So I have feelings, but their feelings, I can observe them. I don't have to, hindi ko kailangan padala sa kanila. Pwede ko silang experience and then pagnilayan, pag-aralan. And that's when we go na into control or regulation. Okay, I'm angry. Sige, okay, I accept that. But what's the most life-affirming choice or decision I can do because of my anger? Diba, mag-friendship over na ba ako? Kasi galit ako, diba? Or iisipin ko ba, ito ba yung mas makakatulong sa akin in the future? Because sometimes, no, depression or sadness or difficulties can make us do things that will maintain the problem. Diba kapag galit tayo, malungkot tayo, masama ang loob natin, we push people away. And we tell ourselves, naku, pabigat ako. Tama na, hindi paalisin ko na yung sarili ko. Ayoko nang mag-interact. But when that happens, you are actually creating more problems because you're depressed and then you remove yourself from your support system and then wala kang support system, lalong mag-exacerbate yung depression, yung sadness. Or activities, di ba? I committed to this, wala akong gana. And iniisip mo, sige, I will not do it anymore. Then magugulat ka, di ba? Makita mo, uy, parang walang nangyayari sa buhay ko. Nothing is happening. So to the extent that it's gentle without pushing yourself, also have that recognition. Hindi naman mo kailangan, kung talaga kayang gawin and ang kaya mo lang humiga sa kama that day, that's okay. But if you notice that that's been a pattern for several months, you may want to think about, okay, ano po yung inaalis ko sa buhay ko? Kaya I feel very small and I feel less of myself. So baka I need to re-engage, no? Anong mga hobbies pwede kong puntahan? Ano bang mga environments na kakaiba naman? Kasi araw-araw, pare-pareho ito nakikita ko, di ba? Lakad-lakad lang muna ako kung saan may puno, di ba, may halaman. And give yourself that enrichment. Or sino ba yung mga tao na gusto mag-reach out sa akin pero tinataboy ko? So you really want to make decisions based on what would help me, even though your mind is telling you hindi, di ba? That's the mental health issues talking to you. That's not the real thing. Do the things that will enrich your life, and then hopefully that will give you more energy to move forward.
Alright, so thank you so much, Miss Kay. Hindi ko na alam kung ilang beses na ako nag-thank you po sa inyo. So, I just want to share this one po. Regarding po sa na-mention ko kanina na nagre-reflect po ako. Kaya din po kasi ako nagre-reflect kasi minsan, ay hindi po minsan, yung talagang kilala po talaga kasi ako ng tao na si anger. Kasi palagi po akong galit. Madali po akong naiinis sa mga inaasar ako, nagagalit po ako agad. Kaya yun po yung palaging impression po talaga sa akin na ako po si anger. Kaya po, actually, may nagregalo po sa akin ng libro. Tapos yung libro po is How to Control Your Emotions. Then, natapos ko po talaga siya agad. And kaya din po, siguro ako masyadong na ding nagre-reflect sa kahit maliliit po na bagay. Kasi gusto ko din matulungan yung sarili ko kung paano ko siya i-break. Kasi minsan, nakakatawa naman po na sasabihan kang parang si anger, kilala ka dun, pero may ibang part din po na gusto ko makilala sa ibang paraan, hindi lang dun sa palagi po akong galit. And dun din po sa na-mention niyo pong journal, may journal po ako, pero yung nakalagay lang po araw-araw is nakakainis naman, nakakapagod, yun lang po. Parang ang kukonti-konti, pero yun po yung parang list of emotions ko na nangyari nung araw na yun. Tapos parang ang saya ko ngayon. Then sa bukas naman po, naiinis ako. Nakakapagod. Daming schoolworks. Kaya po, yun po.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. And wala namang rule na kailangan mahaba ang journal entry. Basta ang importante, nagagamit mo siya to express yourself and to release your emotions. Good. Thanks for sharing that, Queena.
In relation lang po no, sa sharing ni Q, we often hear kasi na healing is a process. The only way out is through, di ba? So parang you really have to go through the whole process of healing. Hindi pwede na may ma-skip ka na step or hindi pwede na you wake up one day and you suddenly decide that you're already healed. So why is it described that way? But hindi siya something that we can do immediately or hindi ba pwedeng yung mindset na lang kasi yun yung something that we frequently hear from the older generations.
Naku, kung mindset lang ang 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 solusyon, di natapos na natin yung problema kasi hindi naman tayo kulang sa
Correct.
motivational speakers.
Opo.
Healing is a process because some pain is complex. There would be situations like grief or difficult family relationships or just what we're experiencing today, yung our response to the crisis going on around us. When it happens to us, it doesn't just impact our feelings for the day. It could change the way we view the world, right? Yung kunyari, yung situation na didaanan mo, pwede magbago yung pananaw mo, ma-generalize mo ka. Kunyari, relationship issues. Di ba? Parang iisip mo, ganito ba talaga? Lagi akong na-abandon. Parang something like that. So it could have been that just one situation of maybe a boyfriend or a girlfriend who broke up with us, but it can trigger that way of thinking of, there are open wounds about abandonment, for example, and we remember that. And then our body also reacts, di ba? So for example, if we live in fear naman, yung kailangan nating i-heal na wound is someone has made us very afraid. Kunyari, there are people in our life who are very violent or unpredictable or they're just not supportive. Sometimes kahit may mindset mo na, hindi ako dapat matakot. Yung katawan mo naaalala. 'Di ba? Your heart starts to beat fast, you get worried, nanginginig ka. So it's complicated in that way, Others are complicated because wala tayong opportunity pa to be heard, right? There's no witnessing of our story. So, minsan ang nasasabi lang natin, maliit lang na parte kasi the people who we want to hear that is not yet there, right? Or just because, it's so painful, it's very difficult to take that first step. When you think of it as complex, you know that one, it's difficult to take certain steps, and two, it will take several steps to get there. The good news is it's a process wherein you can have some form of healing already, even if you're not fully healed, right? Like if it's a 100% journey, you can do something today to make you 10% in the right direction. And then tomorrow, a little bit more, 12%, 13%, 15%, right? And there's no pressure to be healed in a timeline, right? I think what's more important is that there is recognition when hindi mo na kaya and you need help. Or, sorry, trigger warning. I'll let you pause if you want to pause. I'll talk about suicide in a bit if that's okay. You can pause the podcast if you like. If you feel that you're at risk to yourself, na masasaktan mo yung sarili mo, or you feel like you have thoughts you're worried about because hindi mo na ma-manage all of these thoughts, then ask for help. Reach out to someone, get connected to a professional, and even if they are our triggers, it helps to help let the adults in our life know. Because at the end of the day, minsan, hindi rin nila nare-realize na seryoso pala. So, akala lang nila, no, positive thinking ka, hindi nila alam, ang lalim na pala. And then, hearing you talk about it would make them realize, okay, I think we really need to do something about this and help you out with it. There's no pressure to heal. If you feel like papalakas ka muna bago mo buksan, before you go through it, diba? The only way to it is through it. But you don't have to go through it immediately. You can strengthen muna your resources before ka pumasok or just open it part of the time. That you can decide the pacing of that. In the meantime, if what works for you is to just stay here, focus on the present problem, that's also okay. Basta yun nga, yun lang ang caveat ko. If you're having suicidal thoughts, if you're having self-harm thoughts, then I do suggest that even if it's difficult, you start to reach out because there is help available. So just to give you an example, depression is the most researched mental health challenge of all mental health challenges. So we already know what will heal depression. Yun nga lang ang challenge kasi in the Philippines, access to professionals is still very low and it's very expensive still. Kaya hindi natin nabibigay yung tamang treatment to heal people from depression. But the how is already there. Kaya very thankful to the young people because the more you think about it, the more people realize it's important. Kaya ng mga umaakit na batas, no, related to mental health in schools, maybe more accessible mental health services, mandatory mental health training in the workplace. Kaya yan pumapasok kasi may nagsasalita. So imagine niyo kung hindi nagsasalita yung kabataan. Wala tayong program, no? So we really, really need to look at that from a process perspective.
I feel like someone is already hugging me right now. So, ganyan po ka-comforting yung podcast recording po natin ngayon. And we have keep on talking about depression po, no? Medyo curious lang din po kasi ako. Minsan kasi misinterpret yung terms nila. Ano po ba yung kaibahan ng depression to anxiety po?
I'll start muna with the difference between sadness and anxiety. So sadness and anxiety are both normal emotions. Sad is low. Diba? Mababa. Wala kang energy, you don't want to engage, you're crying, you're feeling a sense of loss, you're questioning your worth. So you have a negative view of yourself, of your situation, of what might happen. That's sadness. So sadness is a normal response to loss, right? If there's something happening in your life where something is missing, there's something you want, you're not getting it, or it's denied to you, or you had it and you have to grieve it. Sadness is a normal emotion. Anxiety is another normal emotion. It's the body's response to uncontrollable negative events in the future. Closest niyang way siguro to better appreciate is the word worry. Diba? Yung sadness, you're grieving. Yung anxious, you're worried. Right? You're worried about something that's not certain yet. Kaya ka-anxious kasi hindi mo alam kailan darating. Hindi mo alam kung darating nga ba at hindi mo feel kaya mong kontrolin. So for example, if you're an anxious person, nag-aalala ka, ano na lang sasabihin nila? Hindi ka sure may sasabihin sila, pero nag-aalala ka. Ano mangyayari na mataas yung gasolina? Paano na tayo bukas? No? So hindi mo alam ano mangyayari bukas, but it's precisely that na hindi mo alam yung mangyayari. Kaya it's very difficult to manage your emotions. Anxiety and sadness, they're both normal. Now, when is it a mental health condition? There's called anxiety disorders and there's called depression for sadness. So extreme sadness, so much so that you feel like, one, your work and life is affected, right? You're trying to control it, like you're trying to do the things that usually makes you happy. It's still not working, right? You are sad more days than not. For example, sa psychologist, binibilang namin mga 2 weeks, dire-diretso, na you're sad more days than not, no? And then, wala kang moments where you can't get out of it. And it's not really necessarily triggered by a situation. It's just there, no? So that's a mood condition. If the mood of sadness is sustained for at least 2 weeks, then you may want to reflect if that's depression, especially if your work and life is affected and also it's still difficult to control. The anxiety disorder is the anxiety naman overboard, diba? It's very intense. Again, affects your life, no? Your work, your school, your relationship. You find it very difficult to manage. But it sometimes is very difficult not to predict. Like you have it over the smallest things. Like social anxiety, for example. Social anxiety is anxiety about real or perceived relationships or appraisal by others. So I've met people na nagka-anxiety attack kasi nahihirapan sila mag-order in a fast food because that's a social interaction. Naisip na nila, pag tinignan nila ako, gina-judge nila ako, ano sasabihin sa appearance ko, sa sasabihin ko. So those are things that you could use help with the professional because they're very difficult to experience, but also that there's help available for them. So depression, so sadness and then anxiety, normal. And then when they become serious, difficult to control, or they impact you, you may want to consider if they're depression or an anxiety disorder.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Karen, for enlightening me kung ano talaga yung difference between anxiety and depression, also about the feeling of being sad. So we've come into our conclusion. So what message would you like young people to remember when they feel like they're struggling alone?
So I want to end with just one word, no, hope. It may not feel like in the moment, but there is always hope. There are many persons who struggle. There are many persons with depression, for example. But even during depression, you can believe that tomorrow may be different. Because that's the thought that leads to suicidal thinking. That's the thought that leads to suicidal behavior. It's not the depth of the pain, but rather the belief that tomorrow will not be different. But tomorrow can be different. It really depends on maybe seeing where we can do little changes in the way we do things, in the help, in the love we give ourselves. Diba? We can do little changes in the love we give ourselves. We can start talking to ourselves kindly more. We can start reaching out to others more. We can start forgiving ourselves for our mistakes more. And also, people do change. You have to think about also others in our life as maybe they just don't get it because they haven't experienced it. But we can pray that they have that space eventually to get educated upon it. But these things do take time. And so give yourself hope, allow yourself that space. Think of one positive thing that can happen, one grateful thing that you have right now. And then slowly but surely you can get to where you want to be.
Thank you po. Ako naman, konting sharing mo. I grew up having panic attacks almost every day. Starting, I think when I was like 13 years old, parang kakasimula talaga ng high school days ko. And then it really impacted the quality of life that I had. Kasi parang yung feeling na you wake up and you don't know if you're gonna have another panic attack or if something's gonna happen to you. So parang that kind of experience taught me that mental health isn't something that you just fix overnight. And it's something that you have to learn to live with, understand, and slowly heal from. Because for a long time, everything in my life constantly felt overwhelming. More about learning to understand who I really am. But it's also in noticing the early signs that we have in ourselves and of course within our peers also. It's about giving ourselves spaces and choosing compassion instead of frustration because even if we don't understand what other people are going through right now, as long as we constantly hold space for them and we have that kind of compassion for them, we keep them in our minds and in our hearts and we have empathy for what they're going through, it can really go a long way in helping them with their mental health journey. So thank you so much for all the learnings that you gave us today, Karen.
You also, I love your sharing, the both of you. Thank you also for being open to let others know, no, that these are things we can talk about, and sharing a bit of yourself to everyone. I'm sure somebody who will be listening will be uplifted by it.
I'm learning din po through this podcast that it's okay to take it one day at a time. Then, and it's important having safe spaces where I can be honest about what I feel without fear of judgment makes a big difference. So it reminds me that I don't have to go through everything alone, and that being vulnerable is not a weakness. So in those moments, I slowly learn to accept myself and trust that I'm getting better, even if it doesn't always feel like it po. So thank you so much for joining us in this heart-to-heart conversation. Thank you so much, Ma'am Karen. We hope today's episode serves as a gentle reminder that healing is not something we rush. It's a journey we learn to embrace. There may be days when it feels heavy and uncertain, but every small step forward matters. Take your time, be kind to yourself, be kind to everyone because it doesn't cost you to be kind. And allow yourself the space to grow at your own pace.
So, to all our listeners there, if you're going through something right now, please remember you're not alone. Your feelings are very much valid, and what you're experiencing matters. Even in moments when it feels eerily silent, or even if you're feeling overly overwhelming, for example, there are people who care. There are people who are very much willing to listen, and there are people out there who are willing to support you. Reaching out may feel difficult, but it can also be the beginning of healing. So this has been episode 20 of the FYI podcast, Healing in Progress, Safe Spaces for Youth Wellness. We hope this conversation help you feel seen, heard, and of course, a little less alone.
A heartfelt thank you to our guest speaker, Miss Karen Vardeleon, for sharing her time and expertise, to my co-host, Moana, and of course, to all of you, our listeners, for staying with us and being part of this meaningful conversation. See you next time on the For Youth Info podcast, Kaalaman para sa Kabataan.